What is up, everyone? My name is Kyle. I am with Danny. This is Edited Truth, and we just ate a Funyun flavored ruffle. Danny, give me your quick review.
It was the sour cream and onion chips, and that's it. With a little bit of saltier taste, I guess.
Yeah,
A little
yeah,
saltier, right?
a little bit,
To be honest, I feel
a little bit, but you get that overwhelming ruffle potato flavor that pretty much takes away from any of the whatever salt concoction they put on there.
Oh yeah, you're getting hit hard
So-
with onion instantly. You're like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah, you do get the onion. I will
Mhm.
say you will get some onion, but other than that, you get potato and nothing more
It's
for
a-
the most part. It's nothing like a
it's a gimmick.
barbecue. Barbecue, you actually get a well-rounded flavor.
Yeah,
Even
good
though I'm not
barbecue
a
chip, yeah.
big Ruffles barbecue fan, it does work really well. It's well-rounded. You get that spice.
Mhm.
You get that sweetness. You get that potato. It's good.
Yeah, it's a good balance. This is like a joke. They tricked you.
Yeah.
They just because they're like
it's gimmick.
they wanted to sell more of their sour
Gimmick.
cream and onion chips, and they wanted to trick people into buying them because no one was buying the old ones. So they did a false rebrand, maybe.
I guess.
Who
I
knows?
guess.
There had to be something going on here. This doesn't make sense. I'm like, why would you just not call it sour cream and onion?
True, true. But we got a lot to bring you. We got some cringe videos. We got some news to bring you. We also got some good, the bad, and the ugly. And we'll talk a little Baldur's Gate and some
Yeah.
tech YouTube drama
Oh,
as
wow.
well. But
Yeah.
let's start it off, as always, with our cringe videos.
Oh,
All right, you ready for this, Danny?
as much as I could be
Let's
in this
start
moment in my
this
life.
off. Which one should I?
Uh-huh.
How should we do this? All right, we're gonna go. Have you ever heard of? No, we'll leave Dan. Okay. We'll start off. We'll start off.
I got so excited to torment me.
All right. We'll start off easy.
All right.
You
We're
know.
gonna ease into the
little
cringe.
song.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Oh, I always do that, don't I? Here we go.
Oh no. Oh no. I already know it. Oh no.
Explain what's happening, Danny.
These two gentlemen who are paraplegics in electric chairs are fighting each other in almost like a way that makes me concerned that one of them is like dying. That guy looks like he's having a heart attack,
Yeah,
and then now the cops are here,
that's great.
and that's dangerous because now it's gonna escalate.
I love it.
Oh no!
I love it.
Oh man!
All right. A nice, it's a little warm.
Guy on the left did look like he was like his
Yeah,
heart
he
was going out at the
he
end.
Was,
like
he was staring through the guy. He wasn't staring at
he
him.
was swinging really
at
wide
all.
at the end there, like
At
he was
all.
almost flailing. Like no one cared. They just kept filming it. Oh,
Okay.
There's your cringe.
We
We were gonna start simple.
This is simple.
Or
This
ease us
is
into it.
simple.
Fair enough. All right.
This is-
All right.
I think-
I'm
okay,
right
okay.
now.
I'm
What's
sorry,
gonna?
I'm sorry.
Next level. We're only going up from here.
All right. In My Hero Academia anime,
Sure.
there's a character called Best Jinzu. He controls like fibers, right? And he wears
Yeah.
his costume is all jeans.
Sure.
So let's check this guy out. You ready for this? You ready for this? I was setting up the situation because I knew you didn't watch My Hero Academia.
This
So
just made me more confused.
I wanted to set up the situation of the jeans.
You can't set that up. That's
No.
not a thing
Okay,
you can
so
set up.
whatever. Let's keep going. You ready?
Let's
You
do
ready?
it.
You ready?
Let's do
All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let me turn this down so we don't get sued.
There you go.
You like?
Copyright. Oh no, the
Oh,
jeans just get
look
taller.
at the jeans. Look at that.
The
Look at
jeans are
that.
up to his eyes.
I know. No, it goes high.
So there's
Jeans
a
all
My Hero
over the
Academia
waist.
character who just does that's his get up.
Best jeans. Yeah.
That's what his name is.
Right, I think.
Best jeans.
NH.
These My Hero Academia characters are beyond.
Oh, sorry. Best jeansist.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
See, that's how.
No.
And he can control the fibers. So if you're wearing clothes, he
No.
could just like strangle, like constrict them and
Yeah,
just choke you
yeah,
to death.
yeah.
But the design is amazing. Look at
not.
it. No. It's
Amazing is a word you can't bring here.
Look at that.
Absurd.
Canada would be
shocking.
proud.
Yeah. I mean, if you told me he was a Canadian superhero, Denim Dan. There you go. He's Denim Dan.
Oh, it's great.
That's what Denim Dan would look like if you
Yeah,
could see him in
so,
person.
Good stuff.
They're like
Good
trying to
stuff.
be
Look it
One
up.
Punch Man, it feels. But they're not like doing it right. That guy is doing a great job though, cosplaying of it. He's
Yeah, it's
on.
not bad, right?
I do like
He's
the
got them
soundtrack.
jeans.
He's got them boots. Doesn't have the boots with the fur, but he's got
Does
the
not
jeans.
have the boots with the fur.
Actually, in this setting, thank goodness.
All right, well, let's check out a bunch of LARPers gone a little crazy.
The LARPing in a grocery store?
Here we go. You ready for this?
All right. Oh no!
Wait.
It's not a grocery store.
Bam!
Oh, it's an arena. Oh no! Oh no! He killed him, I think.
I think he might have. I think he
no!
might have.
He planted his Dane axe into his back
shit.
and brought him
And
to the ground.
It's stuck. It's stuck in there. It didn't
Well,
flop out.
No,
it was firm.
It went in. The guy fell and like shifted, and it stayed right where it was at. Right where it was at. So they're in like a weird. It was like inside of like a skate park or like an indoor soccer
right?
arena. And they just sectioned off areas for them to like spar. Oh, this reminds me of like martial arts tournaments.
Kind of like a martial arts
out.
tournament
Yeah.
if you've been to like one of those
Yeah, like,
gymnasium where they section off little areas.
They just
for
these
certain
guys got
events.
hardcore with it because they used like 2x4s.
Dude, yeah.
But then these other guys took it super hardcore and killed each other. They're impressed by the
They're
architecture, like the
They're
craftsmanship.
They are
Yeah, they got dropped instantly.
Oh, okay. Last one. Have you ever heard of a man called Dan Pena?
Dan Pena? No.
He is a businessman, and he likes to give corporate speeches.
Okay.
Let's
Tony
check
Robbins?
out.
What's
Let's see.
happening?
You could say so. Here we go. Oh, I did it again.
Died in your arm. Where's the fucking weekly report, you cunt? I'm serious. I don't give a shit.
I like that.
We've had guys, their wife is giving birth. And God is my witness.
Yes.
He's a doctor, Dr. Joe. Push, honey. Oh, yeah, Dan. I got push, honey. Push. I don't give a shit. Nobody, don't you understand? Nobody cares about all the trials and tribulations of your fucking weak cut lives. Don't you understand that? What the fuck do I have to do?
I like him.
So what was the correlation between like the baby coming out and like his point he was making? Because he was just like push,
So-
and then he just got up and he's like, I'm tired of your fucking weak.
If you Google Dan Pena, you'll see a lot of videos. His main thesis is that you're all weak cunts and you could do better.
Yeah, some type of
More or
multiple
less.
concepts of Darwinism, social Darwinism, what have
So
you. I get
very
it.
social Darwinism. Just
Yeah. I get what he's going for.
pick yourself up by your bootstraps type.
Yeah.
Just let's get going. Let's do things.
Yeah, there's a gambit of that.
But I
all
just
society.
love that all this be like you're a weak cunt.
Yeah,
You're
that's
just a weak cunt.
And then he just the story is anecdote to like segue into that rant was kind of funny though.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
He's almost crying a little bit. You're a weak cunt. I'm so angry.
You're so angry. Oh man. All right. Let's move forward, shall we?
If we can.
Are you ready for this? You ready to move forward after those videos?
I'll
Can
try.
you?
I'll
Okay.
try.
Let's do a little bit of. Let's do the good, the bad, and the ugly, Danny. All right. Let's start off with your bad. We'll
Oh.
start bad
I like that. Okay.
to ugly to good.
Okay, we'll get the bad out of the way first so just get it done with.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. You want-
I will go first.
okay. All right. Let's do this.
And my ugly is Twisted Metal. I watched every
TV series.
fucking episode of this generic show.
How many episodes?
6, 8.
That sounds about right.
8, yeah.
Okay.
I want to say 8.
So you got through 8 shitty Twisted Metal episodes. That's
Shitty
unfortunate. They're like
Twisted
45 minutes
Metal
a pop?
episodes. Yes,
Okay.
probably like 20 to 30 to 40, depending. They're all over the place. So, if you had to guess this show,
Mm-hmm.
it's your typical modern day show in which the final 2 episodes is the end of the first act. It's the Mortal Kombat syndrome. It's the movie that like this movie was pointless because right at the end you're starting to get to where I want to be. So let's take it back. Let's take it back a little bit. We got ourselves freaking Captain America. Captain America. What's
Anthony
his name?
McKay?
Anthony McKay. And he is he's kind of like the John Doe character in the games.
Is he like Road? No, he's not like Roadkill or anything?
No,
like
no,
that?
no, no.
There was,
That's
like,
what
a
I
guy-
thought he would be. I
Yeah.
thought he would be Roadkill. So some characters that you get the police officer played by Hayden Christian Church.
I thought you were saying Hayden Christensen.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would
And then you even get the two cops that you play. There's one cop character you play that is the outlaw, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is the cop car, the souped up cop car. And then there's another character in the second one that you play. It's a girl, and those two characters are in it.
Mhm.
They don't use outlaw. They just use some generic car. Hayden Christian Church does not use. What's his character again? Fuck, hold on.
The police character?
The police,
Oh,
like the
gosh.
main, not the outlaw character, which is the two cop characters, but there was another guy.
I always played Warthog. Was my favorite.
Warthog was good.
Yeah,
I like
he was
Warthog.
the military guy, so he had the tank
Hell
and stuff.
yeah.
That was fun.
Hell yeah.
What was that dude who was just wheels and he was like Hammerhead or something?
So they
like that?
teased him at the end.
Oh,
They
that-
show like a picture of that dude. He is literally like two Axel. Axel's his
Actually,
name.
yes.
Yeah.
You get like someone big to
Um,
play him. That'd be
Agent
funny.
Stone.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it. That's the character.
Oh
Um,
yeah, because he was just like an undercover agent that he infiltrated the racing circuit to try to
Yeah.
find out more about Calypso.
Yes.
and his weird
Exactly.
things. Twisted Metal story is weird, but I remember a lot of it. 'cause
I
played
like
1
so
through 3
one
pretty well.
thing I did realize while watching this whole series is
Uh-huh.
like I don't remember anything about Twisted Metal, and by the end I was like, oh, I remember a lot about Twisted Metal actually.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, you'd be
I
surprised.
surprisingly
Well, 'cause-
know a lot about Twisted Metal. So we do get
Will Arnett's Sweet Tooth. I didn't
so
know that.
Will
I
Arnett,
forgot that.
he plays the voice of Sweet Tooth. There's a wrestler called Joe Cianoa, which I think he goes by Samoa Joe.
Oh,
He's a
Samoa Joe.
TNA.
Okay.
He's a TNA wrestler.
Yeah, I hear a lot
He is
talk
the
about
actual
him
actor.
in the world.
But
Okay,
yeah,
so it's like it was a David Prowse and like David Prowse doing the
Yes.
acting for Darth Vader.
Yes.
And James Earl Jones doing the voice. I guess, right?
exactly.
Okay.
Mike and Stu were characters in I want to say the third of the second game, which they're just bumbling idiots.
Yeah, they're the pizza delivery guys. Right?
No, but they do bring that up.
Oh, no, they're the redneck.
You're thinking of they're the
The
rednecks.
rednecks in the monster
The
truck.
rednecks in the monster truck.
Yeah.
Yes, and they
okay.
are kind of like bumbling idiots that kind of like go from like place to place, and at the end they're with Sweet Tooth.
Oh, you know who I like too? Mr. Grimm, the guy on the motorcycle.
Mr.
And he drives a
Grimm,
hearse in the
he's
third
not,
one, I
He's
think.
not in this
No,
either.
because he's like the Grim
Yeah.
Reaper.
And Preacher is in it, played by Jason Mantzoukas.
All right,
Which is
interesting.
crazy.
Okay.
Which is the weird, like, he's the religious dude that's
Yeah.
in the, I forget which car. But he doesn't, a lot of these, they set up some characters,
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of characters, but none of them are, we're not actually seeing a lot of driving whatsoever in this. Until, like I said, the last 2 episodes, good. That's what you want. You want, what the last 2 episodes is what you were expecting in this show.
What a drag out. And
it
so
does that,
is
and
it
I
set
hate
in
that.
an apocalyptic timeline?
Is it an apocalyptic future where Anthony Mackie is like they're delivery drivers. They're called milk runners essentially, and they go from like city to city.
runners.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb.
This is the
And like I
Postman
said,
with Kevin
at
Costner?
the end of the series,
Uh-huh.
we actually get a setup for what's his name? Calypso shows
Mm-hmm.
up in a voice, and you see the back of his head, and he's kind of like pinning up people that are like the best drivers in this post-apocalyptic universe. And we get you get the backstory of Needle Kane. He was like and it's exactly like the story in the video game where he was a kid actor that just went insane. Pretty much.
Okay.
And they show this flashback of him where he's
Interesting.
on
Okay.
set and he just fucking murders, I think, as a cat or like a dog. He just goes to
Oh,
town
jeez.
on something. Yeah.
So wait though, was there the cameo from the secret level in Twisted Metal 2 where you Twisted Metal 2 where you go to the Jet Moto track?
No.
They didn't have that?
No.
Oh, no Jet Moto? All right. Well then yeah, this is garbage.
Unfortunately. It's good. Yeah, exactly. Raven is played by Nev Campbell. She's kind of the setup in this, where she wants Anthony Mackie to deliver this one thing to Calypso,
Okay.
and this will get him into the city because,
Mhm.
like, essentially. Only certain people are allowed in the cities, but this will give him access to it. Blah blah blah. It's all set up for
Super
him to try to
MacGuffin.
drive for the tournament type thing. And who else do
I'm
we
glad Nev
get?
Campbell's can work consistently still.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what she did before this. But...
Stephanie Beatrice, the girl
For a while.
from what is that show, Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Ah,
She plays the love interest and the side character. She's just called Quiet. She's just made up.
Okay, another because there's not like a fucking giant roster of characters
She
you couldn't have just pulled from.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what the
right?
fuck? I hate
I
it.
know.
They did this in the Mortal
They do
Kombat
that
movie.
a lot. They do that. She
We don't.
could be
There's already
someone.
characters that are the insert for the audience. Johnny Cage
She-
is perfect. You don't need to make a
Yeah.
character like Johnny Cage.
She does have a look of a character, though. Him, and then that's her brother who eventually dies. Agent Stone kills her brother, and that's her whole backstory.
See, that just makes me think of like Walking Dead and shit.
It gets kind of no, it doesn't.
Just those shots.
doesn't
but
get that
I get
sad.
You. I get. No, I'm just saying it. Like,
It's too colorful too. The show, the game especially was so dark that I couldn't see shit. Those are the two outlaw
okay.
twins.
Okay.
But bad,
Yeah,
bad.
All right.
Like, it's one of those shows where the second season is really where the show starts, type of situation. And you didn't have to make this entire setup season.
I think that we're just in full swing of the property shift from video games from superheroes to video games now.
Yeah.
So I'm suspect of all these like big franchises coming up out of nowhere. I'm just like, I'm good. I don't want to watch any more video
And
game
it's on
iterations.
Peacock, so like they are not going to take risks.
If it was a single standalone animated movie or like a special, like a mini series, then that'd be cool. But this is like they want it to be episodic for like 5-10 seasons. Who knows?
Yeah.
There'll be spin-off. Give it time. If it's
Who
popular,
knows? Who knows?
they'll spin it off.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my bad for the week. What's yours?
It's 94's Time Cop, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I was going to go back for that. Really?
No, it's a Peter Hames joint, and it's a good example of how you can make a bad movie that's good in the shape of something like Demolition Man.
Mm-hmm.
This is a similar premise, and it works perfectly. It's a great movie. It's terrible in its overall appearance, and when you go through it, and you're like, this is campy, but there's just so much to it that adds to that joy and keeps you there. This is like that done wrong. It takes some of the tones way too seriously. Some of the moments are so farcical and lazy that like the premise you set up doesn't really feel like it's flowing anymore because it's
Right.
like, well, you're playing with time, and now this just gets dumb, and you start to realize, oh, none of this matter. They're just wrapping the movie up. So it doesn't hold you in the way that Demolition Man does from beginning to end. And Jean-Claude Van Damme is not as enjoyable of an actor to follow as Sylvester Stallone. So
This is the
Yeah.
split scene hold up still?
I mean, that was cool, but also that was just like that's the one iconic pivotal moment, and it's just him in his like pajamas, and he's fighting a dude who like came from the future in his like pajama. Yeah, there he is. And he's fighting him, and it's like it was fan service, and that's all that was. And the rest of the movie it was so dumb. Everything just got so dumb. The guy kept going back in time to give his other friend information, but I'm like, well, why don't you just do it all at once and just keep taking these trips? It's so silly. It's so silly. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. You know what? Looper had kind of a problem with like this. It has that Looper problem where you're like, okay, this premise is good. The scenery and the setting is believable enough.
Yeah.
But the way you implement the narrative and keep to the I guess quality assurance, because everything starts to get messy. Because you're like, well, wait, you go through all this trouble to go to the past to kill people, but in the future you just shot this lady. Like, you just broke your entire story, or your entire your entire poetic license essentially you're building. So yeah, but fucking Time Cop, man. No, just watch Demolition Man again.
Time Cop.
Just watch Demolition.
Demolition Man is the superior film.
Yeah, Time Cop's like a poor, not even barely a poor. Like I can't find any redeeming quality of it. I'm like, I'll never watch this again. And I never seen it. I thought, okay, maybe it's a fun. It's like something like Hard Target, where it's like, but that's a John Woo film, so that's great.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, maybe it'll channel that. Those will be like Hard Target meets Demolition Man. Nope, nope. It was just
No, huh?
Demolition Man meets trash, and that's
Interesting.
yeah. But that's Jean-Claude's got a 50-50 ratio of good to bad. So
True. Depends on how much cocaine he was on.
yeah, or just the time in his life.
Or the time. You never know. You never know.
You ever see him try to fight Dolph Lundgren at like a Grammy Awards or something, or some sort of meeting?
No.
There's like a video where he tries to like throw down with Dolph Lundgren
Really?
and on like a red carpet. It's like, yeah, they put in like Dolph Lundgren versus Jean-Claude Van Damme red carpet, and you're gonna see them like getting up in each other's face. They start pushing each other, and people have to like get in and separate them. Yeah, this is perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a quick one. Watch, there's gonna get some shoving. You get a little bit of shoving. Ooh, he just a little like poke to his face.
Yeah.
Dolph is not.
Get out my
He's
face.
like,
What
look
are
at
you
me,
doing?
man.
What are
I'm
you
looking
doing?
down.
Yeah,
Jean-Claude shoved him. Dolph Lundgren shoved him one hand.
Shit, that's a
One
one-hander.
hand. He's just like, I could push you just as strong with one hand that Jean-Claude
This
did with
is it.
two hands.
Jean-Claude
And
did
look at him.
like
He's
a-
backing up. Like, he's acting like he
Yeah.
needs people. He's like, can you get security in here?
Jean-Claude
it
did
was-
like a flinch push where
Yeah.
where
very
Lundgren
over-exaggerated.
was literally as slow as possible
Yeah,
with one
just
hand, just like
Physical,
boom.
like, I'm going to just mash you
Yeah.
away, and then that's that. That was good.
Yeah,
See, like,
that was
yeah.
great. Okay.
I always remember that when I think
Okay.
of like how much of an asshole.
Okay.
Because Dolph Lundgren's he's a genius.
Mm-hmm.
He's a gentle giant. He's incredibly like intelligent, and it's like funny to hear like people judge him, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
listen to him talking, he's got depth. I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme, you listen to him talking, he's like an asshole.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got good movies, but man, that guy's a dick.
He was a dick.
It's the ego.
True.
What happens?
True, it happens, man.
Yeah, that's my bad. Oh, and the
cocaine.
the Ruffle Funyuns, those are pretty
Ruffle Funyuns, yeah.
because they're a lie.
Mm.
Sour cream
I would say
onion.
they're ugly because they're still edible. Like bad when it comes.
They're
you
a
know.
bad Funyun.
They're bad Funyun. They're bad
I
Funyun.
kind of wish I just had
Okay.
Funyuns. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, now it's just like a worse Funyun.
Yeah.
You know what's ugly? Wasabi flavored Funyuns.
Ooh.
They still got those are still good, but they're wild.
Yeah.
Clear your sinuses.
Okay. Okay. So my ugly
Mm-hmm.
is it's well, I talked about it earlier. The graphics do not hold up, and I even downloaded a 16 gigabyte version of it. So that's divided by 3. What is that, like 6.5 ish gigabytes per 20 minutes?
My goodness, what a file! So you really were aiming high. Okay.
I got as high a quality as I can.
Okay.
It actually helps the fight scenes, but the human scenes still, they're just unbearable. But I love the story, at least of the first one, and that is Mobile Suit Gundam Igloo. Yes, as I was
Oh
talking
my
about
gosh, you
yesterday.
threw me off. I
Were
was like,
you
I was trying to think.
expecting-
I'm like in my
were
head.
you
I'm like, was it going movies or TV show? I
Uh-huh.
wasn't thinking specifically Gundam or anime. That's why I was like, what is he talking about?
It is.
You downloaded a 16 gig Mobile
Yeah, I
Suit
did.
Gundam Igloo file?
Yeah, I did.
My Jiminy
Yeah.
Jillic.
Yeah, so there's 3
Alright.
episodes in this series. The first one is called The Vanishing Serpent of Loom, which is all about the Jotunheim and the Jormungand, which was a beam rifle that was discontinued. It wasn't meant to be used. They're just it was once the mobile suits came out, they were like, well, that's the end of this.
Yeah.
And everyone pretty much knew it.
I watched 10 seconds of that, and I was like, no.
No, you were out.
I was
You were
done
out.
because I was like, I really need this moment in Universal Century history because it's pivotal to the technology and the history that kind of going around it. So I'm like, let's do this. Let's dive in and get some wealth of history and knowledge. And it was just a nightmare to look at. And I said, fuck this. But then also the file I downloaded was like 100 megabytes. and so this was a long time ago. Maybe I could get through it at
No,
60.
I'll
have
play it
to-
on the 4K TV.
Yeah,
see how
we'll have
that
to check it
looks.
out. Yeah.
See how that
So they
looks.
glue in 4K.
Yeah,
Would we ever get here in my mind?
it's
I
even
had
that
no
like it doesn't
idea.
help the animation. The
No,
animation is
it-
still bad.
I mean, you get a better sound quality,
Yeah.
and it feels a little more palpable because you're just impressed on how crisp it is.
the
Just the
yeah.
overall design is
Sure.
a nightmare because it looks so old. Well,
Second,
cheap.
the second
It's like
episode.
cheap CG.
It is super cheap looking and plasticky. House Stand in Dusk is the second episode, which is all about them testing the Hildolfer, which is more or less the Xeon version of the gun tank. You can play it in GBO too.
Oh, that's true.
Remember,
that little
yeah,
one
I
next
used
to
it a
their
couple
base.
times,
Yeah,
yeah.
hop in it,
It
and you
has-
just drive around.
yeah.
Everyone's like, "What is that? Oh,
Yeah.
there's a tank attack."
And it was able to take out 6 Zaku's that were taken by Earth Federation, but the pilot eventually dies.
It's like it's their Spartan moment.
The pilot was also like had PTSD and took some type of medication that they just called dope. Don't know what it is. Who knows?
Okay.
Dope.
I mean, heroin maybe.
And then
It's just,
yeah.
it's just dope. Continue. He's a heroin addict.
yeah, and then the last episode, Dance of Orbital Ghosts, is all about the creation of the Zuda. They create like this propaganda thing. The Zuda's going to be the greatest thing ever, and it turns out to be just nonsense. And these are
Runner-up?
really, really great stories that I enjoy, but it's ugly because of the fucking graphics. They're so bad. The animation's so bad. Even the way the ships move and everything. It just
But they're like 15-minute episodes,
so
right?
bad. About 22
22, so
Yeah.
they're like regular episodes.
regular
Ugh.
episodes.
Yeah, that's a long time to have to look at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a video game cutscene going
It
on
is.
too long.
It is.
You're like
But
smashing
it's-
X over here. You're like, yeah,
it's good. I
Circle
hope
something. What can I get back?
If they could remake this in something, that'd be amazing.
Yes, one
'Cause-
movie, like an
it'd be
anthology or like a special, like they would do with like
Yes.
original Gundam and Zeta.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like that.
So,
And then I'd watch it, and then it'd be nice.
Yeah.
We can do away with this.
So that's my ugly,
Cool.
and
That's a good ugly.
expect that to be the next video on Simply a New Type. Will be the hidden 1-year war. What's your ugly?
All right. Well, this was going to be built up in my good, but we're doing this backwards, so this is going to throw you off right now.
Oh shit.
My ugly
Okay.
is Whiplash, but it's not
What?
2014's Whiplash.
You're talking about the.
I'm
short?
talking about 2013's Damien Chazelle's masterpiece
Mm-hmm.
short, the precursor to Whiplash. It's one of the most cringiest shorts I've ever watched because I could never put the original Whiplash or the actual Whiplash movie that he went on to make after this in
Yes.
2014 afterwards in ugly because that movie's beautiful.
Yeah.
That movie's raw. It's tough, but that movie's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
This was very unnerving comparatively.
Really?
The way they portray J.K. Simmons in like this, being able to go really angry but then really intimately creepy,
Right.
that made it very ugly. That was hard to watch. That was
Uh-huh.
cringy. So I was like, whoa, this is such a different tempo, if you will. Shit, I had to
You
sneak
did
it in. I had to sneak
You
it
did
in.
it.
But it's like Damien Chazelle knows how to direct J.K. Simmons, and I feel like it really
Yeah.
comes out well in this. The tension that he has him put on
Okay.
everyone in the class and how they approach it. But
Mhm.
Whiplash is a great movie. It's a great premise. I mean, if this was what Drumline was, then I would understand why people like Drumline. But I'll never get Drumline. This movie, I'm like, oh, okay, you made a movie about drumming that was solid, completely solid. You appreciate the music and everything. This is just a short. It's like a snippet. This is just the pinky of what Whiplash became. But
I haven't watched in a while, but I actually like Drumline. It's dumb. There's no like if you're like a drum fan, it's not like wow, this is really all about and passionate about drums.
There's
It's just a
nostalgia
dumb
there.
movie with fucking Nick Cannon.
There's that nostalgia and the 7-Up guy. I can't Lamar. No, wait, what was his name? I can't remember. Orlando Jones.
Was it Orlando Jones?
Orlando Jones, 7-Up guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was. I liked him in the movie the best because he was all serious about like the original music and where a lot of it came from. But I just think nostalgia is the only thing that keeps Drumline even remotely entertaining to me. Whiplash so much better. I'm like, I just want to watch this movie about drumming.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
just the character development and how they stick with their story of how tough this all is, and they keep that tension through the whole movie.
Right.
But this short was so quick, but so intense. It was like a spontaneous combustion going off in just
Right.
like a small period. And I normally don't I'm not into shorts that much. I enjoy them as like nods, but I prefer like a little bit of girth to my movie. You know, it's something with meat to it, something that actually can
Right.
hold you down for like I don't mind a long movie. People are like, oh, Lord of the Rings movies are way too long. I'm like, yeah, longer better. I want my money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this short was great. This
Okay.
short was great. So
Okay.
it's raw. It's awkward. Very jarring, but I
Interesting.
would say it's worth the watch just to get you
Alright.
ready to go
Alright.
into it,
Yeah.
or just watch regular Whiplash.
Just
I
watch
mean,
Whiplash.
yeah, just
It's more. It'll be in more
Yeah.
your tempo.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. There's nothing wrong about that movie.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah, it's great.
you can put that on
It's
any time,
fucking-
and you're like, yeah,
It's
Whiplash.
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. All right. Let's get into the good. And my good is I watched it last week and I was surprised that it's good. It's surprisingly a good mutant like X-Men movie because they lean hard on the mutant part in this,
Okay.
and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem.
Oh.
Pretty solid. They changed up some of the stories with what's his name? Who does
What, Master Splinter? Shredder?
Superfly.
Baxter
so-
Stockman?
Baxter Stockman's a little different. It's like it's
He's not-
Baxter Stockman isn't Superfly. It's like
He's not Jeff Goldblum anymore?
he has like all those
Oh.
animals, and it's Ice Cube. No, it's Ice Cube.
Oh, Seth Rogen's Bebop? That's weird.
Yeah, it is a little weird.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
So
I guess
that's a little weird,
could
but
change
ultimately,
characters, but
it's a
yeah.
pretty solid story, I think. Again, asterisk, this is a kids' movie, so if you expect like a lot,
There's not going to be depth to it,
it's not gonna
obviously.
be depth.
Yeah.
The one thing I
Formulaic, obviously,
hated,
'cause for
I mentioned
families.
to you was like
Uh-huh.
when earlier or 2 weeks ago
Oh.
when I first watched this was like so. Jackie Chan plays Splinter in this.
Oh.
And I said,
nice.
like, what's better, the wise old stereotype or the wisecracking stereotype? And I
Hmm.
think, like, being a wise old stereotype is still better than being a wisecracking
Yeah.
stereotype.
Well, let's get real. Like, Ninja Turtles 1 and 2, Splinter between both movies is wildly different. And the Splinter, the first one, throws down, even though he's kind of, like, low budget and they can't move him too much.
Yeah.
He has to do that flip and defeat Shredder, but still, that's good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that first movie is flawless. Second one's fun in a nostalgia way.
I love it. Yeah.
Third movie's a nightmare.
Uh,
But so you would say this is pretty good, though.
I would honestly say, like, this is, like, if someone was just like, if a kid that grew up, like, now says, like, this is my favorite, I'd be like, yeah,
Makes
I
sense.
get it.
Okay.
I get it. They change up every, like, the comics, the modern day comics now, each one's kind of unique and different. They do that. One thing that they did that is, like, one of the simplest things, the easiest thing they could have done and haven't done before, and it works great. They got teenagers to play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Danny.
Well, I mean, wasn't like Corey Feldman like 19?
Was he? Was it
I
that?
don't know. No, it was 90s
yeah,
Corey
yeah,
Feldman. Actually, he
yeah.
was
He
like
was
probably
like
he was-
mid-20s.
He was
by
probably
then.
like 29 and ready to
I mean,
kill himself.
Yeah, plus the cocaine. He was already 30. Let's be
And,
real.
and he just never was the same after Corey Haim
Just
died.
never.
Tale of Two
the
Corys.
same.
Great documentary.
But yeah, Seth Rogen, and Evan Goldberg wrote this.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Okay. They always write these things nowadays together.
Yeah.
So would you compare this head to head to the Batman versus Ninja Turtles movie? Did you like that one more or this one more? Because those feel like they're similar movies, and I enjoyed that one.
Batman movies or Ninja Turtles movies?
No. The Batman versus Ninja Turtles
Batman versus
animated
Ninja Turtle movie.
where they like
That was
there-
great.
There
I
was a
enjoyed that.
really good
I
scene where Shredder fought
really-
Batman, and it was like
I
ninja to
love that
ninja.
film.
That
No, I love that story actually.
the
It's on a different
anthropomorphic
level, though.
characters were a little. That part was the kind of the worst to me when it was
Yeah.
just like, oh, now look, fucking Joker's a rat, or
Yeah.
no, he was like some. I don't remember what he was, but it was something dumb.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this is not just interesting, but let's have ninjas fight more in this.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. So,
Um.
so you say that's a little more above this. This is a little more kind of like family-friendly, formulaic.
Yeah. A little bit more family friendly.
But
little bit
not
more
a
friendly,
bad
like it.
Turtles movie compared
Not
to the Michael
bad.
Bay movies. There we go.
Oh, those were no.
They're
yeah.
Ninja Turtles that are mutants.
These
They're not
are-
aliens.
Yeah.
So they're already off on a good foot. Those movies fucked all that shit up.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll give Ninja Turtles 3 shit, but at least they're still Ninja Turtles and they're not like aliens. I mean, those are just aliens. Isn't that Ninja Turtles?
True.
What the fuck are turtles doing in space?
And Maya Rudolph plays a character named Cynthia Outram. If you know the Outrams, that's what Krang is. He's the alien race, the brain race.
Oh, okay.
So I assume they're gonna. I think they do actually reveal at the end. I didn't watch the end credit scene that she is a Krang or Krang type person.
Did they tease
the Outrams race? Yeah.
Did they tease the robot Ninja Turtle?
No, they didn't tease the robot, which I used to have an action figure of.
That was one of the coolest ones. Because
Yeah.
it's a fucking robot
It's a
ninja
robot
turtle.
fucking ninja
There's
turtle.
a layer on top of how awesome it is. It's a
Yeah.
ninja turtle, but also a fucking robot now.
But they even have like some cool like
Can't handle this.
throwback references, like Mondo Gecko. I don't remember if you remember
yeah,
Mondo
yeah,
Gecko
yeah, and the
back in the
skateboard.
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
he shows up
And
as
it's
one
fucking
of the
shin guards
mutants,
because
yeah.
it's well, like, safety first. It's still
Yeah.
they're villains that kill you, but safe. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
like that redesign. I don't like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no. Oh no, Zootopia. Zootopia. Get it out of here. What about I get Casey Jones.
No
I'm not
Casey
seeing-
Jones in this.
No Casey
No.
Jones. All
So
right. Well, now
I
they're-
assume they're gonna wait.
All
on
right.
that.
Wait a second. Did they have at least the van?
They had the pizza van.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
All
found
right,
it. They
all right.
found. So
you
they
gotta have a
they
certain
f-
amount of Ninja
they
Turtles to be
find this
Ninja
pizza
Turtles.
van, and I assume they're just gonna keep it for themselves. They straight up stole a pizza van. They were like, let's get in here. We gotta go. And it's the typical pizza van that you see in the action figure. It's
Did they
perfect. It's
tease
beautiful.
Daredevil at the end of it, and tying into it.
Dude, I wish there was a Daredevil reference. There was what was it?
He's their lawyer.
Teen Titans Go. There's a part where they're like going back in time and just changing shit. Like they stop Batman's parents from dying.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this scene where the turtles are heading towards Ooze and they just lift it up, turn it around. It's pretty good.
That is good.
It's pretty
That
good.
is- I don't typically like Teen Titans Go, but
I don't
could
like
take
it
that.
either, but there was some good
That's
moments.
good.
in
That's
that.
good. They kind of reminds me when they used to do those DC shorts that were based off of like Mad Magazine or something like
Right.
that, and those were pretty funny. I can't find those anywhere, but they're like little clips.
Yeah.
Weird cast in this though.
Weird cast.
Ice Cube, but Superfly. That's so dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb, man. Man, Dexter Stockman's supposed to be.
Ice Cube was actually pretty good as Superfly.
I mean, yeah, that's in his own right, but what?
Except for the part where I think he said a line from one of his songs, and I'm just like, whatever.
Oh, but then there's like Superfly is the second. Baxter Stockman's his own
Yeah,
character.
so he's his own character, yeah,
I
which is
see.
Giancarlo Esposito. And
Yeah,
then
which
Superfly
because
is-
Giancarlo Esposito's in everything.
Yeah,
Go back, watch
True.
it. Maximum Overdrive. He's there. He gets
True.
killed by a cigarette machine.
yeah.
That's a machine you used to be able to buy cigarettes out of, everybody. Take you back in time to a time when things were wild.
So that's my good. What's yours?
So tying back to Damien Chazelle, recently watched First Man, 2018's First Man starring Ryan
Ryan
Gosling.
Gosling.
Yeah, it's about famous jazz musician goes to the moon, Louis
Yes.
Armstrong. No, it's Neil Armstrong, but as a kid, I would always get them confused in my head. I'm like, yeah, Louis Armstrong. I walked him.
Yeah, of course.
Makes sense, Armstrong. But yeah, this is my favorite Apollo-based movie. This made me like kind of angry at Apollo 13.
Really?
Like it made me frustrated how lame that movie feels in comparison because they added so much drama in this. Like the drama was actually real to the reality of like people died
Yeah.
in horrific ways trying to get to
Yes.
the moon. And when they portray that part in the movie, the tonal change is like, wow, it was wild. It hits you right across the face, and you're like, oh, damn, I'm captivated. This is
Yeah.
great. But the visual aspect of how they did the cinematography, where they did the wide, just massive landscape shots, you feel the width of
Yeah.
it all and the breadth, and you feel like you're kind of there with them. It's a beautiful, captivating movie that I enjoyed the pace, I enjoyed the writing. Ryan Gosling was surprisingly enjoyable in a role that I thought he wouldn't be, but it's that stoic drive Ryan Gosling that comes out in this movie a lot that I'm like, fuck yeah, that's the Ryan Gosling I wanted more of because that movie is so good. I love Drive. We'll throw good on good here, Drive as well.
All
Put it
right,
in right before
there you
this
go.
movie. But yeah,
There you go.
go back and watch that. But
I'm gonna be honest. I fell asleep while watching this, and
It's
then I said I would go back, and I never did.
it's a very somber movie
Yes.
for a lot of parts when they're floating. And so if you're not already captivated,
like
it's
an
hard to get.
ASMR,
It's not a
man.
late night movie. It's not a like watch it
Yeah.
at midnight and you're like lying in bed movie after a long day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like if you're especially in that mood for something that is not necessarily sci-fi but space oriented.
Yes.
It gives you. It's better than a lot of those movies. Like what was the Sandra Bullock one with George Clooney, it was like
Gravity.
Gravity, thank you.
Yeah.
It takes those movies and just makes them look like a joke.
Mhm.
Like, it literally made Apollo 13 look like a fucking joke to me. I'm like, why wasn't Apollo 13 even remotely close to this level of like pacing and writing?
Yeah.
Even the cinematography in Apollo 13 could have been better. I feel like they focused too much on like the close-up shots because they're like, don't forget Tom Hanks is in this movie.
Yeah.
A lot of the times with Ryan Gosling, he's just in a suit and you don't even see him. You see reflections of the moon. And it's fucking like they're really focused on more of the moon is like the star of the movie and the technology going behind it because they're very. That's the thing with Damien Chazelle is very much like focused on like the details.
Mhm.
To me, him and like to another extent, Robert Eggers are the last bastion of good modern filmmakers.
Mhm.
They make movies that all feel ambitious, they feel creative, they feel like they have such a layer of depth that takes you down to the bottom of the ocean. And it's sad because you don't see that in movies very much. And I always like when I watch his movie specifically, Damien Chazelle. When I watched that short, it reminded me, I was like, oh yeah, he has another movie I never got around to watching. It was about space. And I'm like, I got to check it out. I had no idea it was about the moon landing. I just knew it was something in one of the Apollo missions.
Yeah.
And so I checked it out. I was like, oh shit, okay, so it's Neil Armstrong. I mean, there's a lot of weird characters that show. Buzz Aldrin's there. Chuck Yeager is played by the douchebag boyfriend from The Wedding Singer that essentially looks the same. Like, he didn't really age much. He's a little more gray, but it's the same guy, like in his face and build and everything. So it was like kind of funny, like seeing him. And this is Chuck Yeager because I had met Chuck Yeager and I was like, wow, he's a way more bigger guy than actual Chuck Yeager.
Yeah.
So that a lot of the actual aviation history and things like that are in there, and that stuff is very important to me from just how I grew up, where we grew up, and like a lot of my family members and relatives being involved in that stuff. So this is fascinating. I really liked it. But just seeing Damien Chazelle's magistry that he brought to say things like Babylon and Whiplash, which are phenomenal fucking movies. Like, don't get the appreciation they needed, and this really did it. I haven't seen La La Land. It's not the type of movie that I want to really see because I'm not jonesing for that level of musical. But the work that he did with Ryan Gosling kind of speaks true here, and I see why he likes working with Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
And so I see why he used him in that movie because they have a good chemistry together. It feels like he knows how to direct him in that way that he was used in Drive. Takes that and brings it back. He's like, give me some fucking drive. And Ryan Gosling's like, you got it. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to look. I'm going to look at the moon. Look at me looking at the moon.
Okay. Speaking of, you mentioned Robert Eggers. He's doing a remake of Nosferatu.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm excited.
Now, is it a remake of Werner Herzog's remake, or is it a direct remake to the
Probably
original?
of the original, that old German expressionism with the hard shadows and all that.
I want him to do a remake of Werner Herzog's, and in 15 to 20 years, I want Tom Holland to do a remake, to direct a remake.
Yes, let's see it.
Of the fucking Robert Eggers remake. But okay, I like that. I mean, like I've said this plenty of times, The Witch is my favorite horror movie, and the atmosphere and the setting and the attention to detail in that movie is something that I'd love to see in Nosferatu and think would be amazing. If any director right now could make that movie, I would like him to do it. Because Lighthouse, or The Lighthouse. Yeah, that style definitely would speak really well to Nosferatu. Even that movie. Because, I mean, which is more of a period piece, whereas Nosferatu, I guess you could get kind of period with it, but I feel it's just more atmosphere and character focus on the actual vampire character itself. The vampire.
That vampire.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. What's his name? Bill? Is it
Bill Skarsgård?
Bill Skarsgård, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be playing him, so.
That makes
creepy.
sense.
He has a creepy face.
He's always something creepy.
Yeah.
That's funny. Earlier when you were like talking about the Sweet Tooth, all I could think about was like, is he played by Bill Skarsgård?
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
He just typecast as a creepy clown.
Just creepy clowns forever, man.
Creepy clowns forever, man.
Skarsgård.
That's what they should call them. Creepy clowns forever, man.
Nice.
Uh,
all right. That's some good, bad, and the ugly. Let's get into some news, shall we?
Let's dive.
We'll go lighthearted before we get into the main news topic.
All right.
I showed you this last week. Jim Jarmusch
Oh,
will never
yes,
watch a
yes.
Star Wars film. I resent their cultural impact. I love this so much. Like, it's the most hipster thing, the most pretentious thing ever. And I love that there's someone like this still that's
Yeah.
just like, I won't do this because there's so many people and it's such a cultural impact that
Yeah.
I'll have nothing to do with it.
Yes, I refuse
I
to because too many people.
refuse.
Yeah, he is definitely being a contrarian here, but it's in a fun way. I like more of these kind of critic contrarians. I tend to be that myself, but
Yeah.
I love Jim Jarmusch. His most of his catalog
Yeah.
of movies are fucking solid, like spot on, 100% great movies.
Yes.
But yeah, like I like this kind of attack on it. I mean, it reminds me of Scorsese when he said they're not movies, they're amusement rides, they're attractions, they're less a film and more of like a key ring being shook in front of you as like you're infantilely shaking in your bassinet.
Yeah.
But yeah, he lays into it. He's just like, no,
He's like,
too many
"No,
people like
man."
it. I don't like it. I liked it before George Lucas sold out when he sold the rights to
Yeah.
it was an independent film still being made in his mind before Jim Jarmusch was even
Oh
famous.
God, I love it. I love it. Don't stop being yourself, Jim Jarmusch.
Yeah.
I love it. So
Was the last movie he did was the
much.
Dead Don't Die?
The Dead Don't Die,
That
that
wasn't-
zombie film.
That wasn't
was,
bad, but what he did, like, there's no ghost dog. Remember that? Melissa? That's a good one.
That was a good one.
I like that one.
Ooh yeah, that was good. Let's see. Is he working on anything right now?
Yeah, I assume he's gonna do something.
Come
and Bill Murray will
on.
probably be there.
I hope so, right?
I mean, he's like the only. He doesn't. Bill Murray doesn't even show up in Wes Anderson movies anymore. The last Wes Anderson movie had no Bill Murray in it.
Doesn't look like anything's on the plate.
I guarantee the next Jim Jarmusch
For
movie
Jim
will have him.
Jarmusch.
95-year-old Bill Murray.
Yeah.
man.
We'll see. All right, let's get into the main subject.
Mhm.
Now, this is some crazy drama that I don't really care about, but I have just been. It's a situation where I just pulled up a chair, got my popcorn,
Mhm.
and I watched all week. Now,
Mhm.
a channel called Gamer Nexus, which is pretty solid, pretty legit when it comes to the technical side
Mhm.
of certain things, called out Linus Tech Tips, one of the biggest channels on YouTube
Mhm.
about tech, about their kind of like their tests and their data and how they collect data and how bad it's been.
Yeah.
Which whatever, I don't care. I was always like, it's more entertainment.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
very
really care about
esoteric.
their data. But as they grow as a company and they get like a labs testing,
Uh-huh.
those people that do care are now going to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to care.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing to me is the story about what they did. They had a company called Billet Labs
Mhm.
let them borrow a water block for a water cooling system
Mhm.
that they could put on a graphics card,
Yeah.
specifically a 3090s card.
Mhm.
Yeah,
A
a
3090s.
3090 card.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's socketed perfect to the 3090.
yes. So they displayed this on one of their videos.
Mhm.
They used a 4090,
Yes.
not the right one,
Yes.
and they more or less dismissed that product.
Mhm.
And they're just all like,
And posted stats on
And
a
posted-
39 or 3090s,
Yep.
even though it was a different
it
video
was
card.
completely different video card.
Completely, like, just didn't care. Was like blatant about it. Was like,
And then this gets crazier.
Yeah, it keeps going.
Oh man, so they did it wrong. They dismissed it. Then on one of the other shows, they doubled down and said it's a shitty product. Why would you spend $800 on a water block? But it's like a hobbyist thing. Of course, a hobbyist is going to spend $800
Yeah.
on something like that.
Yeah, it's a
He
weird. It was a
totally
weird argument.
dismissing it. And then essentially the company Billet Labs wanted it back, and they just said, "Oh, we auctioned it off.
Oh,
Our
wow.
bad."
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
To somebody at one of their like conventions that they do in Vancouver, which had competitors of Billet Labs, so they could have bought it. And luckily, they found out that it was just like an individual. It wasn't like anyone in the industry
No,
at all.
that's not
So
leaking though. It's like in someone's house just being used.
but it was crazy. And that's just like that
Yeah.
story. That story
It snowballed.
blows my mind. And so this, I'll just play a small clip of the Gamer Nexus
Oh
video.
yeah, this is a good one.
Let's see what part this
This
is.
is also just weird because they shouldn't be worried about what everyone else is saying in a popularity contest. They should be worried about reporting the truth of their own findings and then trying to explain them if they're different. LTT noted in its email to AMD, which they show briefly on the screen, that part of their stability, quote, problem was enabling Expo without increasing VDIMP, except it is normal that higher clocks...
So yeah, he goes super into detail of it. Check it out if you want to see. But it is pretty insane, and I took nothing to it. Then we get like a day later, they do this very, very tone deaf apology video.
It's like a damage control kind of thing.
That they got a new CEO for one, and look at this guy who has like dead in the eyes.
He's
Fucking doesn't
Mark
know what the
is
fuck
like
is going
Zuckerberg
on.
level of disconnect.
Oh man, and it's bad. They just like dismiss it. Still, they're trying to they play it off like this is how we do like our testing. This is how we do our writing and whatnot. And it's insane.
There's
It's
a good
just-
montage about the people who were involved with it getting interviewed saying, like, we had no time to get out our videos. Everything was crunched. There was no quality assurance. There was no going back and, like,
Yeah.
re-editing these things. We made these mistakes. Most of the time we did bad because we just didn't give a shit because we were under these ridiculous constraints. And it kind of reminds me of what's happening here was like kind of what happened with other companies like Rooster Teeth. It's like when you get
Yes, I remember
yes,
that.
Yes,
I remember
yes.
that.
See, when you
that
get
went all
bigger
down.
and you start getting bought or you acquiesce
Yes.
to other things, it becomes this thing where you're too big to maintain, and so you get a lot of that. And I just don't like that entire environment of those types of content creators because I feel like they play a role of someone who plays video games and less of
Yes.
like friends who are actually playing video games.
Yes.
Some of these people, they never knew each other until they started recording together. It's weird.
No,
So this
it's
reminds me of
awkward,
that.
yeah.
So when you get to the like actual creators, it starts to get weird. But then when you see that they're
Mm-hmm.
falsifying like results, and that those results that are their hardware results are going out there and being
Yes.
propagated into actual people who need that information.
Yes.
Because it comes to stability and overall cooling. This is talking about like numbers you need to know because if you
It's
don't, you'll destroy your hardware because it's not being
crazy.
cooled properly. That's a big impact. And so
Yeah.
this level of flippancy and like negligence is weird. Because they're a big company. They're big. They're not like
Huge.
just some
He
dude.
mentioned that he, like, what was it, like about a month ago or 2 months ago, he had a video where he mentioned that someone offered him $100 million
Yes.
to buy him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
pretty big.
Yeah. Well, their analytics is important, and their analytics is bad, and it's fucking up everyone else's.
So they had, I think, almost close to 20 million
Yeah.
as of last week.
And now
to give you
it's
an idea.
fucking
So
plummeted.
they lost about 5 million people
Yeah.
in the past week, which is
Jeez.
insane.
Well, because you're lying to people,
lying,
and
yeah,
especially-
people
and
see
it's
it.
like people take their hardware seriously, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes down to this data. It's not something you want to mistake because then you fry your
Yeah.
$800 GPU that he was talking about, where he's like, well, if you did spin that, fuck you anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
it's-
is all
it's
weird.
bad. It's
But
so
yeah, it
weird.
reminded me of the Rooster Teeth stuff,
So
like
then
100%.
They release this, and then we get a former. Where did this go? Where are we at? Oh shit! So we get a former employee
Uh huh.
of them doing some tweets saying they recently left for reasons of sexual harassment.
Oh, so
Yeah.
there's some more nefarious stuff going on in the
Yes.
background.
If I
Well,
can
bad
find
company
it.
policy or bad company practices happening
Yeah.
in these kind of environments is almost like commonplace.
So here it is. Okay, yeah. So this employee, right as this is happening, maybe, I mean, she probably just is riding the wave, but she left because things were like. She mentioned a lot of situations that were pretty fucked up and a lot of situations that were first world. One of
Yeah.
them-
Because you're complaining up there, and the tweet page was like, "Oh, my
Yeah.
work was called dog shit, and I was constantly belittled for like the
Yeah.
quality." But I'm like, well, if you're doing bad work, I don't think these people are looking at your overall effort. They want to see results because they're a corporation. Like, you wanted them to coddle you.
Exactly.
It's not the kind
There
of
was
job.
there were some that were like making accusations of like sex jokes, which are like great, or not great, but like that which are valid. But then there was one where she's like, "I got denied $15 for a notebook, bitch. Buy 98-cent notebook.
Yeah.
It helped the company out.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
so there's certain, but not to invalidate other things.
But
But
yeah,
that notebook thing was
you start to
frustrating.
wonder too. Yeah, like it's like, is this first world problems or is she making it
Is
into
she?
something
Yeah.
else?
So,
Like, who knows?
but yeah, that was picked up. So since what was it, 2 days ago
Uh-huh.
when that video came out, they release almost like 2-3 videos a day.
Uh-huh.
Silence from them completely. So
Yeah, they've hit a wall now with this.
yeah. So
Every
who
time they talk, they
knows?
lose like 5 million viewers.
Yeah.
So they're hitting this silence, and it's easier that
I
way.
wonder what's today's Friday, right?
Yeah, we're in
So
Friday
they
now, so it's
usually
yeah.
have a show right now.
Oh, and they broke
Uh,
their release schedule.
Yes, called the WAN show, I believe.
Hmm.
I wonder if they're having it. Heads up, there won't be a WAN show this week. Instead, we will continue to focus on addressing issues raised both internally and by the community during our production break. We appreciate you all for your patience. So, wow.
Data's important. You don't fuck with data.
Not doing shit.
That'll destroy your company right away because that shit's more
Yeah.
valuable than gold or oil.
So this is
More
weird.
valuable than
I-
Pikachu.
Pikachu face.
The shock Pikachu
Uh,
face.
It was tech related, so I thought I'd bring it up.
Okay, yeah,
it was interesting.
It is actually because we watch a lot of the reviews from the
I do.
other,
I do.
especially when they were going into that wild shit with the different Nvidia pricing SKUs and the different
Yes.
what was it, different RAM clock speeds and things
Uh-huh.
like that. Where you're
Yeah.
just like, well, why are these different? And they're like, we fucked up and
Actually,
we don't know and we're moving forward. And then Nvidia was like, we're dead.
Uh,
Or not Nvidia, EVGA.
EVGA,
EVGA's like, well, this killed
Yeah.
us.
This
And we're like, what the
killed us.
fuck?
Oh,
Yeah, so that
man.
stuff, this stuff kind of, it's
But,
relevant.
yeah.
It's definitely relevant, especially
It's-
now with Bitcoining, mining, and all
Right.
this other bullshit. Video cards, for some reason, are always going to be the most relevant hardware
Yes.
talked about. I mean, let's be real. CPUs have never reached top since the
Mhm.
Bitcoin mining craze kicked
Sure.
in. Used to be everybody's like, oh, crazy Silver
Oh,
Lake stuff's
yeah.
happening, CPU stuff, quad cores, 2 cores, all that stuff. Now it's like, well, what kind of crazy video cards coming out this year?
Yeah.
Because I have all this girth of things I could do with it now.
Sure.
Yeah. So we'll see where this goes, though, because this company is on its way out. Linus Tech.
We'll see. We'll see. I doubt if they're out, but they're definitely decreasing, and we'll see if they could hold on to their viewership.
They're on their way out from their previous high water
Yes,
mark. They
yes,
definitely will never
absolutely.
return to that. I can imagine this being
Absolutely.
a downgrade for them forever.
Yeah.
Perma downgrade.
All right, let's talk some fun, Danny.
All right, yeah.
We've been playing Baldur's Gate since its release.
Yes. The Baldur's Gate.
The
3.
Baldur's Gate. General thoughts. How you liking it so
I
far?
love the game. I
Mhm.
find it the most immersive iteration of, or translation of tabletop to video game.
Yeah.
So it has all that. It's not only that, but it's an amazing RPG game.
Yes.
And considering I just put a lot of time and effort into Diablo 4, this has actually made me kind of frustrated about all that time I wasted at Diablo 4. And I should have just been prepping for this. 'Cause Diablo 4 is more grindy and like work, and this was just like so immersive and
Mhm.
world binding that it brought you in and made you want to just enjoy the scenery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the
It's
characters
great.
too are like fun. I mean, just in your own characters you can make and the weird things you can do with them. It's
Mhm.
just all kind of free form, like how you would on the tabletop. And I loved Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I remember,
Right.
you remember you had the demo discs at like Vaughn's and Albertsons in
Yeah,
the PC
man,
magazines, and
PC
we'd steal them.
magazine, PC Gamer. Yeah, you just rip them out.
Yeah, take them out, take them home. So I had Baldur's Gate 1 in one of them, and a buddy of mine that I went to school with showed me them,
Uh-huh.
and showed me Baldur's Gate 2, and I went home and was like, I have that demo disc. I should install it and play it. And so I checked it out, and I beat the demo disc and immediately pirated Baldur's Gate 2 and
Yeah.
spent the whole summer of 03 beating it. I really liked the game and the storyline. The fact that after all this time since the summer of 03, which it came out like 2 years before
Yes.
that, like since then that they've actually made a sequel to a game that not only revolutionized it but continued that story narrative
Yeah.
without losing that kind of feeling is impressive. Because I mean, we're full 3D perfect renderings of characters that are autonomous, or they have the proper autonomy.
Yeah.
In those old games, like they're sprites, they were low res, there were issues, but there was some 3D rendering.
Mhm.
This game is like beautiful, but still has that story element that those older games had and never lost it. So this is a good step for gaming in general. which brings us to kind of that uproar where people are like, well, what's the problem with like AAA development? Like, why can't they make stuff
Why
like
can't
this?
they? Yeah, why is it all like free to play and like all these like small payment type, micropayment type
Yes.
shit?
Well,
Nonsense.
also the seasons and then
and
the
season
the leagues and
passes
the
and all that
professional or the Major League Gaming, all that stupid
the
fucking
shit where
Evo.
you pay in small increments.
It ruins games. But I mean, I'm interested in your opinion on it. But I mean, comparatively, I feel like we're both to blame, the corporations and the user, because I feel people buy into that shit and they can make money off of it. So we don't speak, the game or the player doesn't speak enough with their wallet.
Yeah,
And if a company can make that money, it's gonna make that money.
it's gonna make
The problem, the difference here with Larian Studios, and you can see it if you go back and play like Divinity, Original Sin 1 and 2, they're very much fans of the genre making the content.
Yes.
So like, I guess in most recent time, you could the stuff with Henry Cavill and The Witcher, and how he was an extreme rabid fan, so he constantly was like, no, the source material needs to be appreciated because this is why I'm here. I did this because I'm a fan. Larian Studios is making Baldur's Gate because they're a fan, and
Yes.
I feel like I mean, this might be a deep cut, but Blizzard was making Diablo 4 because they're a fan of money.
Well, yeah.
And they're not as much a fan of the Diablo lore because there's no Diablo in Diablo 4. It's not even a fucking Diablo game. It just looks like a Diablo game. He don't show up, so it's like the lore is irrelevant. You gotta have Diablo in a Diablo game.
no
It feels
Diablo in a
like
Diablo game.
it feels like blasphemy, but I mean literal blasphemy.
All right.
But this game feels loved. I feel like
Yes.
I think to them, they're like rock stars of the pen and paper RPG iteration industry.
Yeah.
They're like the Led Zeppelin in their minds, and they're like, they want to keep making good music, good, their art, but they still appreciate the art they're doing and love it. Like, it's like they haven't been. Maybe this will corrupt them because they made so much fucking money, so much money off of this, that this might change them. But everybody loved Divinity 2 Original Sin very rabidly, and this was like a better version of that. So maybe the next game from Larian Studios is going to be phenomenal, even better, more mind-breaking, groundbreaking. We talked about the idea of maybe them doing that in a sci-fi universe and how wild that would be. Like, pick maybe like like something set in a Verhoeven style, like RoboCop sci-fi, or like just anything in space kind of sci-fi from like the 80s. Something applied to that palette would be amazing. That would be a Total Recall. There you go.
Okay.
So like that would be cool if that's what they go. Or they could bottom out, and the next game we get has seasons and fucking pay to play or pay to win kind of
hope
shit, loot boxes. No fucking loot boxes. There's enough chance with these dice already in the game.
Yeah.
But I've been having a blast. I don't know. I can't speak 100% for like the quality when it comes to the edges of like patching and overall game stability. That needs work. That's where the negative comes in.
Right.
But everything else has been completely rewarding. I'm glad you've been enjoying it too.
I have been enjoying it, which is surprising because I do not like turn-based RPGs these days. So the fact that I have been had the patience for it is amazing to me.
Yeah.
I enjoy I think, people used to say when the Fortnite was big, WoW was big, all these like kind of low poly games were big. They're like, you don't need good graphics to make a good game.
Yeah.
We see these amazing graphics on this game, and I question that theory now.
Yeah.
I question it. Like, maybe great graphics do make an amazing game, and there's a
to
lot
the
more to
flavor.
it. There's a lot more to it.
But it helps. It's captivating.
My one thing is like, it seems like it's gonna be so hard to keep up that because the developer knows that they don't have to unfortunately work that hard to get the same amount of money. So you do have to bring in these people that are just doing it for the passion.
It is an edge case because they early access developed the game for what, since 2020, and then before that the game was in development for like 5 years, 6 years. So you're looking at this massive development cycle where they actually finished the game, which really makes me pissed about like Star Citizen, because like fucking in the time that Star Citizen's been out, they made Baldur's Gate 3 and it's a great game. It's a finished game. This Star Citizen game is never going to be out. They're making fucking Starfield or whatever. That's the next a Bethesda game,
Yeah.
and that'll be it's like that essentially. No, because that'll be more of like a Fallout, right? That's gonna be space Fallout.
Yeah.
So, and that'll be buggy as shit because that's just how Bethesda rolls. And I love Fallout New Vegas, but it's a mess, and definitely Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't have those problems. Really doesn't.
It
so.
doesn't at all.
Yeah.
There's surprising amount of bugs. It's one of those games that the bugs don't bother me as much.
No.
Which is great.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
There's enough absurdity around it. There's enough like those real-time cutscenes. You can't beat those. Can't beat those.
Yeah, that's great. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
That cat killing that
cat
fucking
killing
squirrel,
the squirrel,
but the
man.
delayed reaction.
It's beautiful.
And your delayed reaction from your weird like psychic ability
Yeah.
that just like then 5 seconds later everybody goes flying.
Flying. I
Oh.
love it. I love it.
Yeah, the physics in that game, the best ragdoll physics I've seen in years. It takes me back to like Soldier of Fortune when you like saw someone get stabbed and their body go all limp and flail everywhere. This is like that new era of that. We're in a new epoch here.
Yeah, it's great.
I can't. Now it's like I don't even need different. It's like a new game or universe. I just take this game and add more palettes onto it. Austin brought up a good point. They're gonna mod in a bunch of crazy mods.
The
And
mods
it's
are
only,
gonna go crazy.
only a matter of time till Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 get remodded into 3, and you can play through the original games, but in this setting. It's only gonna happen.
There's already an issue like where someone made a mod where you're all children, but in
yeah.
order to do that, you have to put on the under 18 no nudity. Like you can't use the mod without that.
Wow.
So you
Yeah,
can't.
but then you can be a fucking dwarf or
you
a
can't
gnome
endorse
or
pedophilia.
you
Essentially.
could be a halfling that's naked and they just look like children.
Oh,
It's so
God,
weird.
yeah.
It's my least
It's-
favorite
it's
part of the
weird.
game.
But yeah, the modding community is gonna go insane soon.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
wow.
what I'm excited
Remember
for.
Skyrim? I mean, come
Oh,
on. That was
boy.
nuts.
Oh boy.
We'll know we're there when we get that Thomas the Tank Engine mod for Baldur's Gate 3. Where the dragon
True.
that the Gith Yankees riding on is like a Thomas the Tank engine.
Yes.
And then we know we have
we've
hit
peak
the peak mod
Baldur's
point.
Gate, yeah.
That means there's all the mods you
Beautiful.
could ever imagine now.
Beautiful.
It's a bright new world.
So at like 100,000 the first week, that's about $6 million.
Mhm.
Steam takes 30%. That's $4.2 million.
Yeah, Steam made a
in
fucking
the
killing on this
first
thing.
week. Yeah, Steam just
And that's in the first week of just actual people who didn't have early access. Because
Yes.
there were an insane amount of people when this game dropped that fucking swooped it. And every time they put out a patch, more people bought it.
yeah.
Yeah. But I
and
feel like we got our
that's
money's worth. This is the one time where I'm like, I feel like I got more than what we
perfect.
paid for.
Yeah, and it's not even out on console yet, right?
I actually,
It might be
September
out.
6th is what I was here.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Or no, actually, it was, we got it early August, and then they got it a week or two later, maybe. I can't remember. But I think it's, no, because I remember someone was talking about it earlier.
September
saying,
6th.
Yeah, okay, so I was right. Yeah, I was going to say, someone was talking about it earlier where it hadn't hit console yet, and they're interested to see how
That's
the
for
console players react.
PS5. Xbox will have to wait till 2024.
Whoa!
Yeah, that Xbox is not doing well.
No, it's
generation.
not. It's kind of, they've never returned to like the heydays of the 360.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It is, but I
Uh,
mean, that's the homogeny of like this environment. You can't have like,
True.
what's the point of having 3 consoles anymore when they're both like similar?
Why?
I mean, everybody's got PCs. That's a PC essentially.
it
looks
is
like
a
a computer.
PC. It's an x86 processor. It's a PC. Man.
Well, it looks like how the Steam boxes were, or those weird Steam computers, and then
Yeah.
the weird fucking, what's that new one that's from? I want to say Asus had that weird.
Oh,
game.
the ASRock?
Yeah,
That one?
That thing was weird.
That
So,
one's
but that's what
weird.
they all are. They're all
Yeah.
weird hobo computers or makeshift
Yeah.
computer. I don't like the idea of it. It seems really weird, considering that you have a Microsoft computer already. Well, a Microsoft OS, and you can already pair all the hardware with it.
Yeah.
Doesn't really seem like having that box benefits me. I'd much rather spend the money I'd spend on that console and upgrading my computer to do the same thing, if not better,
Right.
with more freedom. It just doesn't make sense. I think it was an Asus gig or rig. There was like oh yeah, the Asus handheld.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
This
is
is it,
essentially
yeah.
an answer to the Steam Deck. not necessarily the Steam box.
The screen is supposedly superior.
It is graphically more
And
powerful,
graphically more powerful.
but the hardware to maintain that is not built well, so it heats terribly, or it
Yes.
vents and cools terribly, and it locks up a lot because it gets overwhelmed with the amount of power it can put out.
Interesting.
It reminds me of the Game Gear a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit like Game Gear
Yeah.
vibes. It's like it's a powerful machine, way more powerful than the Game Boy, just regular Game
It
Boy,
might be like,
but couldn't handle it.
for the form factor alone, it might be worth it. That Steam Deck is so
Right.
bulky and clunky
It is
compared to this.
Yeah, but it's like if that's your gaming machine, then
True.
that's fine.
True.
You could set it up on a counter and hook it up to TVs. so
Yeah.
it's good for.
Not bad.
Someone brought up it's perfect for landing. If you want to land, bring that
Yes.
Steam thing.
The Steam Deck.
Yeah, Steam Deck. That's fine.
Nice.
If fucking Game Gear had fucking 4 AA batteries.
Oh,
Remember that?
shit,
Just bam, bam,
damn.
bam. Or it was like
Fuck.
fucking
The
multiple.
Game Gear was 6. I know that.
Was it 6? It was
Yeah,
6. Okay,
Game Gear
Game
was
Gear.
6 actually.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 and 3 on
Yeah,
both sides.
yeah, jeez.
Yeah, it was a powerhouse.
It gets so hot.
Yeah.
So hot. But damn, was it one of the
Damn,
dopest
I
versions
dig
of
it.
Sonic?
I dug it. Yeah.
Oh, it was so
you had the
crisp and-
kite.
Yeah, and the
Oh,
sound was so
yeah,
crisp. The
that
color was so
good.
crisp. It
That
felt so
screen was amazing. for its
so
time.
modern. You felt like you're in the future. You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you play like, what was it, the Virtual Boy, and you're like, oh, this is garbage. This is garbage. We're in the past. I was
Oh.
wrong.
So we're going into Act 3. What are you expecting? What are you excited for?
I'm excited to chew through Act 3 slowly and digest every conversation, loot everything. It's been a nice stroll to get to this point, but I feel like we have all the gear, we have all the levels, we have everything, we have a strategy. I think we can take on Act 3 with a pretty good amount of effort, but not overwhelming effort. And so I'm looking for a fun challenge and a payoff storyline because there's so many storylines. There's so many
You could do
options.
so many things.
So I think regardless, we'll find, even if we don't like it, we'll Scooby-Doo that shit, reload, and then do the ending we like.
Yeah.
Let's just do the ending where we kill everybody.
Just
Yeah.
live, yeah.
Because that's what we've done so far.
We're
We've-
murder hoboing all
Yeah.
over the place.
The Darker Georgian literally builds your character around, oh, I'm just possessed by this urge to murder, so now you can guilt-free murder everybody because you're like, I just roleplay.
Yeah.
I'm not broken on the inside. It's just fun.
No,
I'm going to
we're
kick this guy
good.
off this cliff now.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Stomp.
It's a fun game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah.
Highly recommend checking it out if you haven't checked it out yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
You could play it for years now.
Yeah.
This is one of the
just-
few games I could come back to.
There's so many options, so many
Yeah.
different storylines. I know there's a mod coming out where you could do an actual true version of Solo, like no
Oh,
actual like
no
pre-made side characters, Lizelle, none
Okay.
of those. It's actual just you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All companions removed.
All companions removed.
That's
so that'd be a
interesting.
fun one to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you have to be on your shit.
Yeah.
Probably have like a lot of summons, like you have skeletons and animals. And then you like technically have the group again.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That will be interesting.
legs on that game and they'll go forever.
Yeah, we might be talking about this again.
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah.
Probably when we finish.
Yeah, we'll give our final recap.
We'll let you know.
Yeah.
But that'll do it for us this week. Be sure to check out freespeechgeek.com. We recently released our Gay Geeks and Where to Find Them video from a panel at Comic-Con 2023. Check out this clip from the video, Danny. This is a good one.
I know that also was it last year before you got the
Uh-oh.
transforming Optimus Prime. It did. I got that as a gift.
Oh, come on.
Optimus Prime, man.
Why
It
is
was a
this?
gift.
It's for
So, if any of you know, Hasbro partnered with RoboSen, which is a company that makes robots, and they did this Optimus Prime that when you go, hey Optimus Prime, and it goes, greetings.
Come on, video.
Oh
This
shit.
computer can't handle 4K video.
No.
Oh, shit.
And it does transform automatically.
Come on, buddy. I believe in you.
$800. And Kevin Smith did the videos showing it and all of that. And I sent him a text.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh my god, that Optimus Prime is amazing. And he goes, you want it? And I was like, what?
Kevin Smith, you just texted Kevin
Did you see how he just name dropped? Hold on. I picked that. Let me get that. Kevin he writes on a show that I produce, so that's how I do that. And
So go check that out on the YouTube channel.
Is that supposed to be Rogue down there? Like, but if Rogue was in an X-Men movie produced by John Waters?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
No, not Rogue. It's
That's not Rogue?
Poison Ivy.
Oh, that's Poison. Oh, no.
Poison Ivy.
Okay.
Dazzler.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, the Dazzler, I can see. I
Yes.
thought for sure with that hair and then that kind of vest. Okay.
But yes. Across.
So Poison Ivy, if it was a standalone movie made by John Waters. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
I'd watch
You're on it. So go check that out on our YouTube channel, along with Podcast of X and other videos. But that'll do it for this week. Be sure to poke all the buttons and touch all the things that all the algorithms like and whatnot. And Danny, any words of wisdom to leave the people?
Yeah, just avoid those Funyun flavored chips.
Fucking Funyuns.
If
man.
you want sour cream and onion, just go for it.
No, yeah.
You want Funyuns, go for it.
Yeah.
You don't need to overlap them. It's the only wisdom I can impart to you people.
All right, wise words. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you love this podcast, we have a lot more content over at freespeechgeek.com. We have upcoming convention coverage, news about your favorite weeb shit. We also do in-depth takes like, are some fans more religious than Christians, Jews, and Muslims? Spoiler alert, yes, some of you crazy people are. All that and more over at freespeechgeek.com. Go check it out, you psychopaths.